What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the show, guys. It is Monday. Yes, it's a long week ahead, but we got Christmas coming up, guys. So Merry Christmas to you guys. And I always love doing videos and actually sharing stuff with you guys. And I get to talk to you guys. This is my way of thanking you guys every single day for putting me in the position I'm in. So thank you guys very much. But that's enough of that ushy gushy stuff, guys. Let's move on to a video. So Ikan actually picked apart and come forward and said that the audio was actually fixed of that Joseph Morris put on his channel to be 100% fabricated as fake, because Joseph Morris fabricated the audio of saying that he had the audio of the 4 college students brutally murdered, of the girls screaming and yelling, "Help me." So that brings me to this fact, guys. So if you look at this is Enon Harsh. Enon Harsh is actually one of the guys who actually was interviewed, that people's actually saying he's the killer. He has not been, he has been ruled out, guys. He's not the killer. And the thing about it is too, is this guy is a juggler. He's socially weird and he lives off campus. He lived by the girls, by the 4 college students that was brutally murdered. And he says he heard screams that night. Well, was the screams the fabricated screams he may have heard online? And then he just thought automatically, you know how you hear something online, you're half asleep maybe, and you hear the screams. Maybe he fell asleep and he actually heard the screams I'm about to show you guys that was 100% fabricated by the YouTuber Joseph Morris. Anyways, guys, let's get right to the video. So what we seen there was Ikan actually showed us exactly how Joseph Morris fabricated the audio to make it sound like the camera. The story was a camera outside of the victim's house, the 4 college students that was brutally murdered. There was a camera, it had audio, and it caught the audio of the girls screaming. But now let me take you back to Enon Harsh. So he says he heard someone screaming. Like I said, we're going to get to that interview in a little bit. But first, I want to try to actually make you guys understand and help me understand more or less of what I'm saying here. So Enon Harsh is actually a juggler. He actually rented a house by the girls on college campus. Well, it actually would be off college campus, so be it, quote unquote, but it's amongst all the college students. And he rents the house because it's cheap and it has vault ceilings, and he's a juggler. That's the reason why he said he lives there. So does this, and he's actually awkward socially. So he's went over and he's met the girls. He brought the girls some champagne and stuff, guys. And he says all this in his interview, and he said that the girls was attractive. But I'm sure every guy around there that actually seen the girls thought they was attractive. So we're gonna go on with this video, and I'm just going to actually share this with you guys, because just because you're a juggler doesn't make you actually a serial killer or a killer. Anyways, guys, let's jump right into the video. So you can see him outside here performing, juggling, doing what he does. Just because he does this, does this make him a killer? I don't believe it does, guys. But now he does seem weird. So you can see where he would fit the criteria of, well, a killer. Getting away with things. He's slick. His hand movements are good. And then it goes on further to say that he's a chef. And he is a chef. He's Chef Dizzy. So because you're a chef and you're good with a knife, does that make you a killer? People is actually saying that he's a killer because he's a chef and he's good with a knife and he knows how to work a knife. Now, why is a chef in the same criteria as a killer, you may ask? I don't know, but they have put him actually in that position, naming him the killer. I'm not talking about the police. I'm not talking about FBI. I'm not talking about special agents. I'm talking about YouTubers in general, guys. Now, I'm actually going to stop this video, and we're actually going to go on to another video, guys. This is actually, it's called Idaho Neighbor Interview. He heard screams, and a Harsh gives a full interview of Moscow murders. So pay attention to this video, guys. We're actually going to watch this video. We're actually going to pause through it, but we'll stop afterwards. We'll talk about it and discuss it even more. But pay attention to some of the questions here. Anyways, guys, let's jump right into the video.
Will you pronounce your name Inan? Enon.
Enon Harsh.
Enon Harsh, also known as Chef Dizzy, as you see there. Enon is a very, very important part of this Moscow homicide investigation because he was a neighbor of the 4 victims who lived on King Street. And I just want you to share with us what you know. Many also have heard of the neighbor that possibly heard a scream. This is that person that I have with me now. So let everyone know this is going on. We'll try to take some questions as well, but right now I'm going to start with my questions because I have a lot.
And now, mind you guys, this scream that was fabricated was around the same time that this guy actually came forward. But there was another one floating around on Facebook, guys. So not only did, that's actually where the YouTuber actually got the scream from, was another person off YouTube and fabricated it. And the scream that you heard in Ikanmel's video was actually a scream of domestic disturbance call that wasn't even around there. So that was floating around on YouTube for quite some time. So could Enon Harsh have heard that scream and in his head thought, okay, well, I'm actually going to come forward and say I heard a scream because he heard that scream. And then Ikanmel comes forward and debunks it. And then Enon Harsh kind of laid back like, maybe I did something I shouldn't have done. He even told the cops he wasn't for sure whether he should come forward with it or not because of the situation that everybody else was putting him in, and all the fake screams going around that people was saying was this 4 girls in Moscow, Idaho, that was brutally stabbed. So is this kind of a part of maybe a mental health problem? It very well could be, guys. Anyways, let's jump right back to the video.
A lot of them. I want to thank you for being here. And first off, I think we should just start by taking us back to that night. The things I've heard in the news from you, Enon, are that it was an unexpectedly quiet night. You wrote about the crime on social media, and share what you remember from that night. Is that a good place for us to start right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I work about like 10, usually like 9 to 11-hour shifts. So I went to work. I got off around, I think it was around 12 that night. It was kind of like a late close, and I like bullshitted with like a coworker for a little while after work, and then I went home. It was around, I don't know, like 1:30, 2-ish a.m. It was maybe when I got home, maybe and I'm always like kind of hoping that I have like a parking spot right in front of my door when I get there, because like lots of times on campus, there's like parties and like they're pretty full. And so like this time I noticed that like, I don't know, it wasn't really any cars as usual. I was like, cool, I'm gonna get a nice spot right in front. And there was I saw like this sort of like kind of like decked out like luxury, like I thought it was black SUV, maybe like a Beamer or something, and it had like rims, tinted windows, and I was like, oh, that's like a pretty cool car. And then like coming out, like I noticed some like plates from like Arizona, I want to say, or Montana. There's kind of like it's like I'm always like kind of curious what kind of like different plates are like around and stuff, because usually you just see like Idaho, especially in like my parking lot. And so,
See, and they went on to say that just because this guy says like a lot, it puts him in a criteria of somebody. In the way he shrugs his shoulders, a specialist actually said that he would actually be a key suspect if it was up to him. Then why isn't he a key suspect? This is just people speculating because they actually do not have a suspect. It's been, a month now, and we have absolutely no suspects, no murder weapon, no DNA. We have absolutely nothing, guys, to go on this killer. There's even speculations of this maybe be turning into a cold case, because they have nothing to go off of. But my question is this: if the killer killed 4 people, brutally stabbed them, which he did, where is his clothes? Where's the blood trail going down the stairs? They said there's blood splatter all over the walls, but where's the rest of the stuff? They said that it was so bad, horrific, that there was blood leaking out the side of the house. So you mean to tell me that the killer had absolutely no blood on him, didn't touch no railings going down the stairs, didn't touch no walls because he was slipping down the wooden stairs, didn't, when he hit the wooden floor, didn't fall because he had blood on his shoes? You mean to tell me there's absolutely nothing? But yet, in another interview, a detective says that they have a bloody footprint. Now, this was like 2 weeks ago, guys. Where's that at? And then we have the coroner. We have someone that does autopsies on these 4 girls and gives horrific details to the family. It's not her responsibility. And she's done this in the past, too. There's some weird stuff going on in Moscow, Idaho. Then we have YouTubers running around, specifically one individual I'm speaking about, running around, going to Walmart looking for this car that they want. Whenever they said they have 20,000 hits on this car, on cars like this that they have to go through. They're even giving us a separate number to call to give tips to the police of Moscow. Not saying that you found a car that doesn't match the license plates. Or do they even know the license plates? I don't think they do. Because they said they have 20,000 hits on cars just like that. We don't even have a car as a prime suspect. We actually, quote unquote, do, but we don't know where this car's at. Anyways, guys, let's jump right into the video.
So like I came in and you know, it was like surprisingly like pretty empty that night. Like none of the houses and like that on those like 2 streets were having parties, which was like kind of unusual. And then I went home. It's like making some tea, just like doing some contact staff drills and like you know, stretching. I think I played a game of League, and then I went to bed. And then as I was falling asleep, it usually takes me like 30 minutes to an hour to fall asleep. Like I don't know. I guess you know I dismissed like initially like you know like one of my neighbors returning hello after me. So I heard like, you know, a car shut, a door shut, and then like, you know, apartment door shut, and like also like a scream. But like, you know, that's like normal. Like I always hear like screaming almost every Saturday night. So like I didn't really like think of it. And so but like yeah, just looking back, I was like, I wonder if like, you know, that wasn't just like some drunk dude like screaming, like it's actually like the murder. And yeah, and it was like it was kind of a trip having like the cops like come on, and like no one knew what happened. They're just like, you know, asking where we were, and we're like, this is weird. Like they're knocking on every single door in our apartment. Like that's never happened before. And then like I went inside and looked on the news, and it was like 4 people stabbed to death. I was like, it's like right across the street. It was like, holy shit.
Okay, so there you have it. Enon Harsh, Moscow, Idaho, neighbor of the 4 students in Moscow, Idaho that was brutally stabbed. Now, we've seen his juggling page, his YouTube channel, and yes, that looks weird, doesn't it? And whenever you're a clown in a carny or a circus act, circus Olay, whatever it is, you kind of look weird because you're different than everybody else. But does this make this guy a killer? Just because he's a chef and he's good with a knife and he's socially awkward, does this make this guy a killer? And the interview was very weird, I must say myself. But do I think this guy is the killer? I do not. But there's actually people putting faces on this guy on the internet right now, naming him the killer. And people's like, stop saying this guy's the killer. If he was the killer, the cops would have him in jail, guys. He's not the killer. You know, I think people want this case over so badly and find out who this killer is that they are actually so they want to name a killer right then and there because they want this case over with, guys. You know how many people is falsely accused of murder, of everything else in this world because they don't know really who the killer is? So this person acts weird, so they go to prison for life. It happens all the time. And I'm afraid that this case is actually going to be a while before it is solved, guys. We have no killer. We have no knife. We have no DNA. We know that the killer actually came in the house and murdered 4 people. We don't even know his escape route. Where's the black glove the detective found in the backyard? Underneath the rocks. There's so much DNA in this house, guys, from other college students vomiting because of, drinking and everything else. So when is it going to be solved? That's the question, guys. I have no idea. But hopefully it's soon, and hopefully they find the killer and he's locked away for life. But something says to me that the killer is not in Moscow, Idaho, guys. If he was in Moscow, Idaho, somebody would have done talked by now. But there's actually text from another YouTube channel I seen talking about a murder, guys. But, I don't go that way because I want to have 100% facts of what I'm speaking about. So, yeah, I've seen them, I've read them, but I don't know if it's true or not. So I'm not going to bring it to you guys. Or maybe I'll just flash it to you guys and see what you guys think in the next video. Anyways, guys, I'm going to jump out of here. But first, love yourself, like yourself, be nothing but yourself. Like and subscribe to the channel. It's highly appreciated. Without further ado, guys, your boy Deuces. I'm out. Thank you, guys.